Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Healing Conversations. My name is Einav Avni from Untangled Healing, and with me today, Nadija Bajrami. Nadia, hello.
Hello, Einav, and hello, everybody, and well done on pronouncing my surname correctly. So I'm very happy to be here. Delighted to have this space, safe space to talk about a very, very exciting topic today.
Yes, indeed, indeed. And just before we get started of talking about the limiting beliefs and also trauma healing, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Now, so I'm Nadia. As you can hear in my accent, I come from France. I've been living in Ireland for the last 5.5 years. Lived in Scotland for 7 years. I lived in Russia as well, and I used to be in corporate for a long time. And a couple of years ago, I had some brain tumors. Actually, in 2015, I had my last surgeries and promised to myself that if I was to survive, I would get my life together and find my not just my passion, find who I was, because I think I was lost in that high fly career and achieving targets and really being, to be perfectly honest, being miserable in a corporate career, even
Mhm.
though you had all the benefits. And then out of the blue, but I don't believe in coincidence, I was offered a job in Dublin 5.5 years ago, and I took the opportunity to come back abroad again. And as soon as I came, I just knew that this was the place where I would find who I really was. And I train as a hypnotherapist, a coach, mind coach, law of attraction coach, and I'm also a psychic medium. So I really let everything unfold when I came to Ireland and all, embraced who I am basically, and that's what I love doing now, helping people with my different modalities.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's everything that people need, right? I mean, yeah, hypnotherapist, of course, hypnotherapy, of course, goes very, very deep, and
Yes.
and as you say, bringing all of these different modalities together. So, I am actually just curious about this mediumship and psychic abilities. When did you realize that you've got these?
Well, the intuitive side of me, I have a lot of people said the same thing as I would say now from a very young age. But because I was very much, I lost my dad when I was 9, and I'm very fortunate with my family. But when I lost my dad, obviously, I just thought, right, I have to. I became very adult at 9 and very
Mm,
driven to succeed in my life, at 9. And I was driven to just be the best at school, do the best, like be like everybody else, achieve targets. And I
mm,
didn't really want, from a very young age, I had this intuitive ability, or this, I don't like to call it a gift, ability to feel, to sense that, there's some other realms.
mm.
And but I just brush it off really all the time, even in my adult life. I said, right, I don't want people to think I'm mad, or I just want to be like everybody else. I wanted to be just, unfortunately at the time I wanted to fit in. And when I came to Ireland, there's such a spiritual land, such a spiritual country here. I met all the right people, and even where I live, I mean, it just it's so interesting that everything just unfolded here, because
Right.
it was time for me to embrace that. But from a very young age, yes, yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
to me, it's always so fascinating to hear. Um, let's get into the main topic of today, which is, of course, limiting beliefs.
Yes.
What are they? How do people know that they have them? How do they come across in people's life? How
Well,
tell us a little
yeah,
bit
and that's the. I agree. It's a very, like, to me, it's one of the most important topic, and I said that before, but I'll just repeat it for the audience here. Is whatever we do in our life, we think that we want to change something, change a diet, change a job, change a partner, find everything, the ideal job, the ideal partner, and we do reach a stage in life where we feel that we're not moving forward, that something is actually stopping us to move forward, or finding the job we deserve, or finding the partner we deserve, or even finding the house we deserve.
Mm,
We can go on, and very often, if we just stop and think, we realize that our limiting beliefs are actually the cause of us not being able to move forward, to actually move beyond ourselves. So limiting beliefs, like, what are they? Because we hear about them, all the time. There's a different they're caused by different factors, different yeah factors, but really it all comes from the same place, which is, it's your brain's idea or desire to protect you from any pain that you might experience in the future, by protecting you from going into a situation. So that's kind of what a limiting belief is. But what are they in daily life? And I think it's going to be familiar to everybody, is all these: I am not good enough, I'm not smart enough. Who am I to believe I'm going to find, that this man would find any interest in me? And that's very personal. But we also have sometimes limiting beliefs around others, around a type of job. But it always comes back to us. It's who am I? Oh, I got a promotion. Oh my God, imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome is a very good example of limiting beliefs. I've lived it for a good while, recovering now, but when you start being successful as well, let's say in a career somebody got promotion, gets successful, and then at some stage this imposter syndrome kicks in, and the limiting beliefs are full blast of, oh, that was just sheer luck, I did this, but no, it's actually just due to luck, or I managed to be very good at this project, but no, I was lucky, or I got a lot of help. We never get ourselves credit. So this is a good example of limiting belief that I hope will speak to a lot of people. It's always, I'm not good enough, I'm too fat, look in the mirror. Or when you go clothes shopping, I experience this as well. You have a look and you go with your friends and you don't even want to go clothes shopping because you think, oh my God, no, I don't want them to see the size I'm going to pick, and I feel really not beautiful enough, too fat, not thin enough. And it's all these, I think it comes to me anyway, my perception comes down to I'm not good enough in general, whatever the topic is, whatever, again, physical, mental, spiritual, we can feel that in every areas of our life, of that something in me tells me that I'm not good enough, but that something in me is in my brain to actually protect me from potentially something that could hurt me. And
Yeah.
that's the wrong coping mechanism, unfortunately. But I hope it kind of clarifies for the people listening to us that what a limiting belief is. And by the way, just be reassured. I think I've never met anybody, I don't know about you, Einav, but never met anybody who had no limiting beliefs.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. We all have them. And the interesting thing, and what I want to talk a little bit now, is really about how do we actually notice them, because they are so deep in our subconscious mind. We don't
Right.
realize them. It's basically our compass that says, right, this is how far you go, this is what direction you're going, and if it's, if it doesn't feel right, then we can assume that there is something there that is holding us back. But how do you help people to recognize the limiting beliefs, and how do you help them, move beyond them or overcome
Now,
them?
to recognize them, I would say, to be honest, it all starts with a thought. We know them. Uh, let's talk very like a short period of time for the mind. So we have a conscious mind, the rational mind. We have our subconscious mind, which is this huge storage unit or database or hard drive that stores everything that happens to us in a
Mhm.
nutshell. And then obviously all this working together creates our thought patterns. Then the thought patterns create the feelings. Our feelings will create the behavior. So how to recognize the limiting beliefs is, I think Abraham Hicks kept saying, a limiting belief is just a thought you keep thinking. And the thoughts. So I would like to draw people's attention on your thoughts. And this is, I'm not saying it's easy, but very often when you just like take a bit of time, stop and slow down in a situation and analyze the thoughts you have in a specific situation. Let's say somebody goes, applies for a job, right? Applies for a job, gets an interview. Before the interview, here you go, meltdown. I'm not good enough. The thought, it starts with the thought. I'm not. Then the physical side. You can shake. The heartbeat can be a bit, more rapid as well. But it all starts with that part of the thinking part in the brain that says triggers the thought of that limiting belief, that not being good enough. And then once obviously that kicks in, then you will feel, like you will feel an emotion, and then you will act in a certain way. And it also affects the body very often. So that's just how we can identify them. It's to stop and just analyze the thoughts, because that is something, again, that we can do pretty easily. We don't say it's super easy, but it's pretty easy. We all know, right? What have I been thinking now? I'm not good enough. I'm not. He's never going to like me. He's never going to appreciate me. Why would he be with me? These thoughts come, and this is where we can identify our limiting beliefs, at least on the thought side. But that's
Mhm.
where it comes from, because the behavior won't necessarily, people behave in a certain way, we all do, and we don't necessarily think, oh, I keep, even like in relationship patterns sometimes, I keep attracting the same type of partner.
Yeah.
But what is the thought pattern at the beginning that triggers your emotion, that triggers this energy that you're meeting the same type of person? So that tip is just pay attention to your thoughts. They're key in life and key to start working on the limiting beliefs. Now, yeah, that then how I help them. It's me through coaching as well, but mainly, I have to be honest, I do use coaching and hypnotherapy together, but mainly on limiting beliefs, I do use hypnosis, which is helping the person to go into a heightened state of awareness, which we call hypnotic trance or hypnosis. And it's the client very often closes their eyes, and we help them relax, just enter a state of relaxation with some specific hypnotic language. And
Mhm.
as we do that, as the client gets relaxed, their conscious brain, mind, the rational mind, goes to rest, not to sleep. I don't like to use the word sleep because we're not asleep, goes
Yeah.
to rest. And then with the hypnotic language and the hypnotic techniques, we do target the subconscious mind, which we reprogram. And it's a little bit, I like to compare it to a garden. So you have the soil of your mind, and we take the weeds, and the weeds will be the limiting beliefs. So with hypnosis, we help you to clean the garden of your mind, remove the weeds, and then we help you, we give you some tools, we give the mind some tools, so then you as a person, you become the gardener consciously, and you
Mhm.
maintain this garden of your subconscious mind, if that makes sense.
Right. Yes. And so, can you give me an example of something? Some kind of case study, or a success story, that you work with someone that you help them recognize the limiting beliefs, and then with hypnosis help them to get rid of it, basically, or
Yes, absolutely.
weed
Oh
it
God,
out.
absolutely. That's my daily. It's my daily life. So,
Yeah.
well, I like to use because I'm going to use the corporate example because I have helped numerous people, but a specific person, specific client I helped that came to me for an interview. A lady, in this case, came for before an interview. She actually contacted me and she said, "I have an interview. I need this job." I didn't know the person. We had a discovery call, and obviously, all the signals, all the thoughts, all even the words she used were signaling very big limiting beliefs. So she didn't contact me before, but she really contacted me like a couple of days before the interview. And we had the discovery call. Then we had the session before, the first session before her, I think a couple of days before interview. And that that is a success story in itself because she was just not capable of actually going to an interview. She would have a meltdown throughout her life all the time. It would really trigger physical symptoms, emotions, high emotions, and she would just melt down. And sometimes she would even basically accept the interview, but not go.
Mm.
So, and this time she said, I cannot afford it financially. I need this job, so I need help.
Yeah.
And that was the first step. So what we did, as I said, the first session, we definitely worked on that unworthiness. Why do I not deserve a better job? Because what was in the background was I have a job, doesn't pay me well, but I don't seem to be able to get the next level job. That was a management job. And after actually the first session, I have to be like, it doesn't usually take one session more, but we did one session and she did the interview absolutely fine. That's quite a recent example. She doesn't know yet if she got the job, but she did the interview, went super smoothly. She was very calm, and she was actually very. There's something that really, really made me very happy, is that she was proud of herself for the first
Mm.
time when she went to the interview. She actually felt very comfortable and very calm, and went through all the interview process. And then when I kind of checked on her, she said, "Well, I'm actually very proud of myself. Everybody keeps
Mm.
asking me how the interview went, but I don't care about that. I'm very proud now because I did it. I managed to really sell myself, to show all my skills and not to sell myself short, because that's what happened in the past. The couple of times she did go to interviews, she would melt down.
Yeah.
So as I said, that was it was a very good example of this imposter syndrome, and
Mhm.
this I'm not worthy of getting a better job. And that we did one session, and the one session helped her to really just go, get there, do the work, and now just wait for the result. But she knows now as well, the mindset has changed, sorry. She knows that even if she doesn't get that job, I'm capable now of applying to other jobs and doing other interviews as well.
And
So
it's
that's
so
a recent example.
what you're demonstrating is really how complex our subconscious mind is. The thing that we have, the limiting beliefs, the
Yeah,
negative voice, the worries, the
yeah,
low self-esteem, the imposter syndrome, all of this together is just there. And when we
it
know
is.
aware of it, we still allow it to drive us to wherever we go.
And that's what you just said, driving. I like that word, because the subconscious mind is, makes you act on autopilot. You go
Mm,
on autopilot. You are driven by the subconscious mind. You don't realize. And
yeah.
all the limiting beliefs, everything that's stored there, you don't actually realize. It's then when you talk with the therapist, you go, oh, I don't know why I never thought about this that happened to me. And this actually creates this, what we call the subconscious programming, that gets
Mm.
stored in that storage unit that the subconscious mind is, and just keeps, it's a loop, it's like that loop. The program is on the loop, on autopilot and repeat mode. So whatever we want to do, unless we change the program in the subconscious mind, the loop of programs will just keep going and keep sabotaging yourself, obviously, in this case.
But I mean, of course, with hypnosis, as you say, you go straight into the subconscious mind, and
Yeah,
you deal with everything on that level. But there's still things that we can do ourselves, even
absolutely.
without
Absolutely.
the
Yeah.
hypnotherapy, really to just to bring it into conscious awareness.
Yeah.
How come I'm telling myself these stories? How come I really I feel the fear and let it win. I don't go beyond that.
Yeah.
Uh, and then starting to have different conversations with ourselves.
Absolutely. I totally agree. And that's why I mentioned the fact that then we become even, like, when I work in my line of work, then I actually help the people to maintain the work consciously, to do their conscious routine, shall we
Yeah,
say. So even if somebody obviously doesn't go through the hypnosis process, there are some tools that can help them. So, for example, for sure, I'm going to come back to the beginning, is you have to be honest. So you have to just acknowledge the thoughts. Okay, I'm thinking this, like whatever the thought is, the limiting belief is, I'm thinking this. So a good thing to start with is to write them down. Write the limiting beliefs down. So just to acknowledge them. Okay,
yeah,
written them down. First of all, you kind of dissociate them a little bit from you, because they're written down. They hear, okay, that's how I feel. So the writing is very powerful. Writing them down. Then there is something to do as well consciously, is assess how accurate they are. Because when you write them down, you can say, right, okay, I'm not capable to have this job. Okay, just write everything down, and then assess the accuracy. How accurate is this? Oh,
yeah,
I'm too fat. Really? How accurate is this on the scale? So writing them down, then assessing the accuracy, because writing them down is being honest, then assess how accurate they are, and then start reframing them as well, consciously reframing them, the reframing process. Once you have everything written down, you can just write the counter side of it, like, I am not capable of having this job. Well, I have some capabilities, I have some skills that
yeah,
actually fit the job. It's that reframing process as well, because yourself as a coach is, if you reframe, you create a new reality. Consciously, you retrain the brain.
yeah,
So that's like, we can do these three things. Now we can also do something that I love doing, but that's through my law of attraction. I would say work as well, is affirmations. Once you've actually reframed, is affirm things to yourself.
yeah,
Obviously, affirmations need to be in a present tense, in a positive way. So it's not, oh, um, I know I am not that incapable. No, that's not an affirmation. It's, I am competent.
yeah,
I am able to. I can do. These type of affirmation. And why am I talking about this to the affirmations part? Because hypnosis works on repetition. Because the subconscious mind is the most powerful tool we have. It's a science-based fact. But consciously, the more things you repeat to yourself, the more they stick to your brain and they become a habit.
yeah,
So, when you tell a child, oh, you're stupid, you tell him consciously, the child grows up thinking he's stupid. So if you repeat to yourself, well, I'm capable, you have a routine. It's like anything else. I teach this to my client. They have to build a routine. So
yeah,
if they build a little routine, doesn't take time to repeat positive affirmation to themselves around whatever area they want to work on, it starts sticking. It's weird at the beginning. When I used to do this myself at the beginning, I said, this is really weird. I'm losing the plot,
yeah.
but it works.
But
So,
that's why we say, never finish a negative thought, because it all goes into the
Perfect.
subjective mind, subconscious
Absolutely.
mind. And when people say, well, I can't say these things because I feel like I'm lying to myself, I
Yeah,
always say, well, yeah, lie. Because
absolutely.
consciously you're knowing that you're lying, but subconsciously
You
you don't
don't.
know that you're lying, and it's the
Absolutely.
command. So
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
new commands.
Yeah. The brain doesn't know, and the subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality, and that's the power. And this is why when I work with people, I tell them, use the power of your mind. And unfortunately, people think, oh, it's too simple. Because it's too simple, it cannot work. Because as a human, human beings, we're geared not only for negativity, but we're geared to for complexity. We need things to be complex for
Yeah,
us to think, oh, they're going to work. But the simple techniques, some simple tools, are actually, as long as they're used on a regular basis, like consistently, to create that habit, then that becomes, as you said, this subjective belief, this new subconscious belief that, oh, I'm capable, I am capable. And because the mind doesn't know, they don't know if you're capable or not. You repeat it to yourself, so they think that's the new reality. Yeah, absolutely.
exactly. It's very important to what you just said. You keep repeating to yourself, or we keep repeating
Yeah,
to ourselves, whatever this, our limiting beliefs. So if I believe that I'm not good enough, I will always find reasons to say, yes, you see, you're not good enough, you're not good enough.
yeah,
And so I've created this reality. But actually I can overcome that, I can reverse that, I can change that by giving myself new commands, new ideas. Actually, I am good enough. And yes, by
absolutely.
repetition I create new wires in
And
my
as
brain.
simple as it sounds, I mean, exactly the word is new wires. Absolutely, it's new programs. And I always say to people, believe in the simple things, because
Yeah,
all the things we've been taught ourselves, learnings and trainings, are the basic things that actually people brush off and say, oh no, that's too easy. Oh yeah, wishful thinking. No, no. The
yeah,
brain functions, it's science, the brain functions by repetition. That's how we're programmed. That's why how childhood affects us so much. Because childhood, you go through some stuff, often, and then this repeated itself, so created a program. So now we just have to reverse the trend and
yeah.
feed our brain with our subconscious mind with positive programs, just
and and,
reprogramming
and
it basically. Yeah,
and just to mention the other thing about, the brain, why it's so important to rewire it, and to give us the positive commands, is because the brain can only hold one, the subconscious mind can only hold one truth at a time. So it's
absolutely.
either I'm rubbish or I'm good.
I'm good.
So
Yeah,
choose for yourself
absolutely.
which one
Yeah.
you want to go with.
So
And
absolutely, and then the one you go with, the brain is going to believe, and then
yeah,
this is the root of the new belief. So, and it's not like, I would like to clarify this. It's not, because I do hear this a lot. Oh, it's like wishful thinking and it's too easy. It's not, because it's just
yeah,
basically, the expression out with the old, in with the new. It's
yeah,
like we can only hold one we see one in one program. So if out with the old is deleting the old program, you can only delete it if you start replacing it by the new record, basically, the new record playing in
yeah,
the subconscious mind. Yeah.
yeah. Beautiful. So just it's nearly our time to end for today. But what message do you have for people listening? Something to close our podcast with today?
Yeah. Well, I'm just gonna say something now, obviously around limiting beliefs, but first of all, that you are good enough, and that whatever other perceive in you is their perception, not yours. And I keep saying this to people. So believe in yourself, and also whatever I'm going a little bit beyond this. So you are good enough. Believe in yourself. And just go for it. I just feel I need to say go for it, because I see so many people who deprive themselves of the life they want, deprive themselves for whatever, the life, the partner, the house, the country they want, because
Mm,
they think they don't deserve it. And you're worthy, and take the leap of faith. Really listen to the inner voice, listen to what the little inner guide tells you, and go for it. Because spread your wings. That's my message. Spread your wings, and the limiting beliefs, you're going to work on them as you go along. Don't
mm,
wait for the perfect moment. My message actually today is the limiting beliefs stop a lot of people from achieving things, whatever the things are. So it's my message,
yeah,
just don't wait for the perfect moment, spread your wings, and as you go along, you will work on changing your limiting beliefs, but just take the first step towards the life you want to create, really.
Yeah, I love it. Just take this first step because yeah, they were saying that if everything falls into place perfectly, it means that you've waited too long.
Absolutely. And yes, yes, yes. And also, when everything falls apart, you know that everything is going to fall back together again, the way it needs to fall back together again. So, and again, take the first step. And remember, you don't have to see the whole staircase, just the first step. Take the
That's the
first
first
step
step.
because the limiting beliefs will always be in the background, no matter what. But then, once you start taking action, that's just what I want to finish on taking action, taking that first step. It's, motion. When we create motion, the limiting beliefs come with us, but then they will be addressed because at some stage you take one step, then you want to take the next step, and then before you take the next step, you will have to pay attention to your thoughts and work on those limiting beliefs. It's going to become natural. Not saying it's easy, but you gain more clarity. Yeah,
Yeah,
there you go.
I love that. I love that. Well, Nadia, thank you so much for being here with us
Thank you,
today. I
Nadija.
loved this conversation and limiting beliefs. As you say, we all have it, and we just need to find a way to bring them all to the conscious awareness, and then we can start doing something about it. I'm going to put your links at the bottom of the chat so people can get in touch with you. Thank you so much for
Thank
being
you,
here.
everybody listening to us. Thank you, Annie, for the invite. I really love talking about it and talk to you soon. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.